annoy you guys anymore, right? I just saw the Celtics make a complete run without Jason Tatum beat the Knicks in Game 5. So now the pressure can be for the Knicks to have to close out the Celtics in 6 in New York. Will that happen? We'll find out. But anyways, I just saw the NFL schedule for the Houston Texans. The NFL times and release dates of all the games, right? So I took a look at the schedule and I said, my first question is, what is our first game going to be? Right? It's got to be an impactful game, right? And then most importantly, who is our last game on the schedule going to be against? What divisional opponent, right? It's always either Colts at Indy or it's at home against Titans. Like that's usually who they schedule us against, typically, right? So I looked at the schedule, and all I could do is just nod my head. It's just terrible schedule. It's like, can we please get a redo on the schedule, please? Let's go ahead and take a look at the games, right? First and foremost, why the fuck do we open up the season at LA to take on the Rams? Like, seriously, against a non-divisional, non-conference opponent, we open up at Sophie Stadium to take on the fucking Rams. It's like, what the fuck? To start off the season. I specifically said, want to play at Baltimore, at Kansas City, week 1. Why? So we can get the loss out of the way. And that way it softens up the schedule just a tad. We get a little bit of a softer schedule. You got us week 3 at Jacksonville. And I always have an issue with this. Why the fuck do we always got Jacksonville in either late September or in early October, but we never go at Jacksonville at all late in the year? November, December, we never get to go to Jacksonville. It's not like it's snowing there. But why can't we do that? King Twister, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just making fun of Stephen Curry and the Warriors. Poking a little fun at you guys. Nothing personal. Week 2, we host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we got Rams and Bucks the first 2 weeks of the season, and the Bucks game happens to be on a Monday Night Football game. Why are we scheduled against the Bucks at home on a Monday night game? Terrible schedule, NFL. Terrible schedule. I don't like the first 2 games. The week 3, we go at Jacksonville on September 21st. So that means if you want to plan ahead to go to Jacksonville, because I always want to go to Jacksonville, take on the Jaguars, go to a game and enjoy that nice sunny Florida weather. I always have to do it early in the year instead of being able to do it later in the year. Like I've always wanted to do it in November, December. Never can get my way. The first 3 games are terrible. We host the Tennessee Titans. After that, back-to-back opponent divisional games. So we got the Titans on the 4th. It's like, it's always the NFL screwing our schedule up. And then not to mention towards the end of the year. We go like at San Diego at week 17. And then Indy comes here, right, to end the season off. It's like, and then we got Arizona the week before that. So why is it we're playing, again, non-divisional opponents in the last fucking 3 weeks when you can schedule them? I remember when the NFL used to do divisional opponents the last 3 weeks of the NFL, and you would play back-to-back weeks against divisional opponents. And I think that was a great idea. Why did they get away from doing this? I have no clue why they're doing this. And why are our opponents non-divisional, non-conference opponents for the last 3 weeks of the season? That should have already ended mid-tier or towards the middle of the season or towards maybe the top ending of the, maybe November or something. Why are we scheduled to, again, to take on the Cardinals and the Raiders and the Chargers towards the end of fucking December, which to me makes no fucking sense? The NFL just needs to do a redo. They need to redo this fucking schedule. The schedule makes no fucking sense at all. Not even from a logical standpoint. I hated our schedule last year, and it's even worse this year. That makes last year's schedule time to dates look better because at least at Jacksonville was in the middle of October. Now you got us in the third week of September at Jacksonville. Oh, man, the NFL needs to get their fucking shit together. I'm dead serious about that. And another thing I want to address. Why is it that Thanksgiving it's always Cowboys and Lions get a home game? Why don't they switch it up and say, okay, well, let's let Dallas play on the road on Thanksgiving and let the Lions play on the road. I know it's a tradition that those two teams always get to feast on Thanksgiving Day, but I always wonder, why don't they just switch it up and say, well, why don't we make them at least play on the road for once? In the NFL history, the Cowboys, the Detroit Lions can play on the road on Thanksgiving Day. It's not going to hurt them to play a fucking road game. They still get the goddamn Thanksgiving Turkey Day game. But no, they get special privileges every fucking year to play Thanksgiving Day where they can feast and gobble while they get a guaranteed home game, which only leaves one game open for the rest of the NFL. And I always wondered why Dallas and Detroit always gets preferential treatment on Thanksgiving Thursday. I always just wondered why that was the case. I never understood the logic behind it and why Dallas and Detroit is always getting the Thanksgiving Day game, much less they're giving home games guaranteed. Okay, so we go at Rams, trash, versus Bucks on a Monday Night Football, trash, at Jacksonville, too early, trash. We host the Titans Tards on week 4, trash, at Baltimore, October 5th. Now, I'm okay with that because I said I don't really want to go at Baltimore in the snow. So they kept that one in it's not going to be cold in Baltimore, I'm assuming, in October 5th. So that's okay. I really wanted them week 1 or within the first 3 weeks, but that's okay. I'm okay with the schedule of that game. The first 4 games are terrible. Then we go at Seattle. The Monday Night Football, October 20th. I don't have a problem with that. Week 6, we got to bye. Week 7 at Seattle. So at Baltimore, at Seattle, the schedule, and I'm okay with that. Then we host the Niners, October 26th. Don't really give a shit. We're not an open roof stadium anyway. Don't really care about that. Then we host the Broncos, November 2nd. Then we host Jacksonville, November 9th. So what that means now is by the ending of week 10, we will not have any divisional games against the Jaguars. And so I would prefer them to schedule a game against Jacksonville in November and the other one in December. They don't always never get it my way. Then we go at Tennessee November 16th, so it's a possibility that game could be snowing in Tennessee. So it could be a weather conditional game right there. Buffalo comes to our house on a Thursday, November 20th, as they come to our house. It's going to be on Prime Video, so that means it's going to be another prime time game. We go at Indy. Hey, Indianapolis fans, if you're listening, why don't y'all stop being fucking pussy cowards and open up your stadium and your Lucas Oil Field or whatever the shit you call it, and go ahead and open that rooftop up so that way we can whoop your ass in the snow. Why is it that Indianapolis and Minnesota don't have the balls, or Detroit has no balls to open up their roofs and let the snow come in, and let's see some snow in Detroit, and let's see some snow in Minnesota, and let's see some snow in Indianapolis, and make this fun. I don't know why they keep the rooftops closed. They don't do it in Cleveland. They don't do it in Pittsburgh. They don't do it in MetLife Stadium for the Jets and the Giants, but they sure as hell, and they don't do it in New England, but they sure as hell, for some odd reason, Minnesota, Detroit, and Indianapolis has no open roofs during the winter. Why is that? Don't you think it would give you a competitive edge to open the damn rooftop and open the goddamn roof up? All right, so with that being said, we go at Tennessee November 16th. That game will probably be most likely snowing. Then we go, excuse me, week 12. Well, it's a Thursday game against Buffalo, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a problem with that. November 30th at Indy. Okay, so we got at Indianapolis. In November, week 14, December 7th, we go at Kansas City. Now, that game's going to be snowing. So you know it's going to be it's going to be possibly a weather effect. So we're possibly going to have 2 games so far in the schedule where it's possibly snowing. So we go at Kansas City. That could be a pivotal game right there. Definitely going to be a pivotal game right there. Now let's see the rest of the schedule. Week 15, we host the Cardinals. See, this is where the schedule just sucks after this. It's just so disappointing. We got the December 14th Sunday versus Arizona. You got December 21st versus the Raiders. Then we go at the Chargers the week before the season ends, right? And then we host the Colts. Those three games, Arizona, Raiders, and Chargers, we should have played them early in the season, not later in the season. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't like this NFL schedule. I don't like the way they, other than maybe like 4 games or 5 games on the schedule, the rest are just poorly put together. I mean, it used to be, and I really like this. I don't know why they switched this up, but it used to be that the last 3 weeks of the season, or at least the last two, it was against divisional opponents. And I like that format. I think it was great because it was like, okay, the division it's coming down to the division games, and it's coming down to divisional play and playoffs on the line, division titles on the line. So the last 2 weeks against division opponents would be understandable because you're playing against division opponents. So I call for the NFL to do the last 3 games against all 3 of your division opponents. That's the way it should be. So it should be Indy, Tennessee, Jacksonville, in whatever order you want to put it in for the final 3 games. I think we should divert the last month of football back to your divisional schedule, and that way let's fight in the final month, the final days. So that way those divisions are on the line, and it makes it more of a competitive edge from a divisional standpoint because you realize division titles on the line. So it makes it like these grueling matchups. No, I have to put at Chargers in week 17. You got to play against the Raiders the week 16 and the Arizona Cardinals in week 15. Bro, this is the dumbest fucking schedule ever. NFL, you need to redo your NFL scheduling and go back to the old way you used to do it, where your division opponents were the last weeks of the season. In fact, I would say the last month of football should be against all divisional opponents. So keep that in note. I would not mind playing one of the 3 teams twice and then the other 3 teams 2 times in the final month of football, and make this really, really grueling, grunching, where you're fighting for the divisional titles at the end, and we're trying to win it so we can make the playoffs and stuff. But no, they got us against non-conference opponents and out-of-division opponents for the last, 4 games of the season. Ridiculous. The NFL really screwed this one up. They screwed the whole schedule up. This whole schedule looks terrible. It looks terrible. If I had it my way, I want Jacksonville in November, and I want Jacksonville in December in the final week. I want Tennessee and Indy in the final week. I want my last month of football against all divisional opponents. I should have to see non-divisional opponents on my schedule, and especially out of conference ones, on my schedule going towards the ending of football, the last month, when all division titles are on the line. Man, it's terrible, terrible. So NFL, could you please redo the schedule? I hate it. The only game that's decent, okay, I agree with the Dallas at Philly, the Thursday game. I think that's going to be a really damn good Thursday matchup right there. But I looked at the week 1 games. I just didn't like any of the matchups. They were just all like boring matchups. In fact, I'll go over the week 1 schedule. Just week 1. Just go ahead and spice it up. And change the Thanksgiving games, by the way. I'm tired of seeing Dallas and Detroit always getting the feast on Thanksgiving Thursday. And they get to play on Thanksgiving Day. It's guaranteed. They get a home game. They always get a home game. We'll make them play on the road, goddammit. I'm just saying, switch it up a little bit. Switch up the damn games. Mix it up somewhat. And then you got Minnesota going at Chicago, a Monday night football game. To start off the season, absolutely not. That is a terrible matchup. The Sunday night matchup, Baltimore-Buffalo, is okay. I don't have a problem with that. It seems to be a decent game. Detroit at Green Bay is also another good one. San Francisco at Seattle. Tennessee at Denver, I don't see the point in that one. Carolina at Jacksonville, that'll be all right. The Giants at Washington, that's going to be a good one. The Giants at Washington, Pittsburgh at the New York Jets, so that's going to be a low-scoring shit fest. Let's go ahead and go to Arizona at New Orleans. They're both out of divisional opponents, no division opponent. The Vegas Raiders head to New England. Oh, that's interesting there. Rematch of that 2002 playoff game. Okay, you guys say you got Miami at Indy. For some reason, they always schedule Miami and Indianapolis together. I don't get that. That's always within the first early part of the season. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Uh-oh, someone's going to start off 1-0. Who's it going to be? And then Tampa Bay at Atlanta. And then, they got that KC at Chargers on the Friday game. Now, I think the NFL is onto something about this, and I will give them credit for this. The Friday game, they should schedule Friday games. I always thought that, you do a Thursday game and then do a Friday night football, kind of like Friday Night Lights, if that's the technical term you want to use. And I think would be a great idea to put a Friday night football game. Hell, you could probably do one on Saturday, just kind of hyping it up, one-day game prior to Sunday. And it sort of like amps up the whole schedule. It amps you up before Sunday, man. And I think it's a great idea for an NFL to start instituting Friday night football games. I've been saying this for years. You put a game on Thursday, I'm like, but then you got Friday and Saturday with nothing to do, right? I mean, you could watch college football, for Saturdays. That's great. I got to watch my Longhorns every Saturday, so there's no issue with that. But then again, I still got to worry about, no games on Friday. So how about let's do an NFL game starting on Fridays as well, and sort of gives you, it amps you up before Sunday, and you get a little bit more excited about them Sunday games. So I have no problem with it if that's what the NFL wants to do. If they want to start scheduling, they want to start putting in the schedule for Friday night football games, I'm all down for it. In fact, I would even suggest maybe a Saturday night football game and start beefing it up some, start making you every day. They sprinkle just a little bit in there and say, we're going to get you ready for Sunday football. We're going to get you amped up for Sunday football. That's what I'm talking about. But other than this NFL schedule is trash. And another thing, it's going to be, and let me guess, who are the Cowboys and the Lions hosting on Thanksgiving Day? Well, let's just go ahead and take a look since we're already there. And let's just go ahead and see who's playing the Thanksgiving game day. So first, let's go ahead without a further doubt. Let's go see who is playing on Thanksgiving Day. Let's see. We are now on week 13. Why does ESPN, schedule always want to act up? I don't know why. Doesn't love me. Who plays on Thanksgiving this year? Who do the Cowboys host? Who do the Lions host? It's always them two. They always get a Thanksgiving game. I don't know why. Why does the NFL constantly do this to us? It's like we're constantly going to give you Dallas and Detroit, Dallas and Detroit, Dallas and Detroit every fucking year. Excuse my French. Let's go ahead and look at the speaking of which, I don't know what's wrong with this computer. It's always acting up. Can somebody go ahead and look up the schedule for Thanksgiving games this year? Let's see. Okay, Green Bay at Detroit. Okay, that's not too bad. Didn't they play last year? Green Bay and Detroit, or was that Chicago at Detroit? Kansas City at Dallas. Okay, that's a little interesting right there. Cincinnati at Baltimore. That's okay. Now, the Friday matchup, they got Chicago at Philly. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Now, let's see if they got any Christmas Day games. Or the day before Christmas. Christmas Day before Christmas, let's see. I just want to see if they got Christmas Eve or Christmas Day games. Let's take a look. They got a weird schedule on week 16. They got a game on Thursday, 2 games on Saturday. Okay, so they don't have any Christmas Eve games because it does say December 24th. I don't know why it says that shit. But there's no game scheduled for the 24th. That's odd. Okay, we're going to look at the Christmas Day games. Let's take a look real quick. Then we're going to see who they got scheduled for Christmas Day. What a surprise, Dallas Cowboys. What a surprise, Detroit Lions on Christmas Day if they haven't already had the Thanksgiving games and now you just want to feast and give them Christmas Day games too? After you done gave them the Thanksgiving Day, you going to give them Christmas Day games. That's some bullshit, NFL. Bullshit. Dallas Cowboys head to Washington on Christmas Day. Detroit at Minnesota on Christmas Day. Denver at Kansas City on Christmas Day. So here the NFL is rewarding Dallas and Detroit once again after they done already had the Thanksgiving games. Now there's like, no, that's not enough. We haven't had enough Lions and Cowboys. Let's go ahead and give them some Christmas Day games too and reward them once again. So it's just another another Cowboys and Lions special. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Because I don't like any of this favoritism crap. Cowboys and Lions always getting all the good games. You give them the Thanksgiving, and now that you just have to rub it in and give them Christmas Day games. Guarantee. Oh, we put them on the road. I don't give a shit. They shouldn't even be playing on Christmas Day because you just gave them the Thanksgiving Day games. And now you want to give them again? Reward them again. Jesus Christ. Well, in other news, the NFL schedule sucks, and only but a couple of games are decent. The rest of them suck, and the Texans schedule sucks, except for maybe 3 or 4 games, and then the rest of them sucks. And we got non-divisional opponents for the last 4 weeks against non-irrelevant divisional opponents, Arizona and the fucking Raiders, and a partridge in a pear tree, and the Houston Texans. 2025 schedule officially sucks fucking ass. Oh, and before I go, Indianapolis, you might want to go ahead and open that roof up. Just saying.